Let us look at proposition number 25 of book 7 of Euclid's Elements. The proposition says, if two numbers are relatively prime, then the product of one of them with itself is relatively prime to the remaining one. So let's understand what this means. Let's say 2 and 3, we know they are relatively prime. So which means the product of one of them with itself, that means 2 times 2, which is 4, is also relatively prime to 3. Or 3 times 3 equal to 9 is also relatively prime to 2. Or in general, we can write it as, if, remember, prime number means what? That their GCM is equal to 1. So GCM of A and B, if it is equal to 1, then the GCM of A square and B is also equal to 1. Okay, now let's prove this. We know A and B are relatively prime. Let C equal to A times A, the product of A with itself. Let's make another number D equal to A. Now since A and B are relatively prime, A is equal to D, that means D and B are also relatively prime. What do we have? We have A is relatively prime to B, B is relatively prime to B. That means A and D are relatively prime to B, which means their product is also going to be relatively prime to B. A times D, remember they are both equal to each other. A times D is nothing but C. So C is also relatively prime to B. So we have shown that if two numbers are relatively prime to each other, then the product of one of them with itself is also relatively prime to the remaining one. So that is proposition number 25 of book 7 of Euclid's Elements. Again, let me remind you, there is a link to a PDF book which describes all these propositions in detail. Please feel free to download it, refer to it, and if you think somebody else can also benefit from it, please do share it. That's it for now.